there is an important role that you as an officer played. Okay. I could give some guesses. You're the liaison to the level above you, which is a liaison to the level above them, which is a liaison to the level above them. I mean, there's this classical pyramid, you have vision, mission, objectives, and then it goes down, and then you go then to the individual missions. There's a long path. So what were some of, I mean, you are essential. I mean, otherwise they wouldn't have you. It's not like we don't need officers, and it's not like we don't need project managers. So what are your primary jobs? Even if they don't sound as illustrious as, jumping Halo out of the back of a Chinook or whatever, or what are those responsibilities?
I think the responsibility of an officer or a project manager, senior project manager, is to look up and out. The project managers or the officers that are always looking down and in, when you do that, you're basically communicating to your team you don't trust them.
Yeah.
You have to build that trust, because as an officer, I have to focus on this. I can't be focused on this. That's what I'm asking, John. What is that? The up and out is the everybody has a boss, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm an 05, if I'm a commander in Afghanistan, I have a boss. He's a one-star.
Are there things,
and then he has a boss.
Let me ask differently. Are there things that your team doesn't want to think about that they want you to answer?
Yeah, I think the overall strategy.
Yes.
So
what is the actual mission?
Is strategy.
What are the parameters of the mission? If we run into trouble, what do you want me to go left or do you want me to go right? Right.
So
strategies. And I think go ahead.
Well, I think everything that we do, we war game the heck out of it.
Yeah.
We look at branches and sequels. We look at if then. We look at if this and this go wrong, what is our primary, secondary, and usually tertiary options? And we go over it over and over again. Everyone on the team has to understand that, including the senior leader. But somebody on the team has to be answering the mail above and beyond and focused on the strategy of what that smaller team is part of. That takes a lot of mental energy.
Also the logistics. It's the big chessboard, right? I often say the difference between senior management and project management. Project managers and project teams have to be, this is a term we often use called, they have to be enamored they have to have attention to detail. All right?
Okay. Yeah.
And senior management has to have the big picture.
Yes.
So if I'm in a special ops team, I want to go on a mission, but I don't want to have to think about, do I have logistical background? What happens if I get in trouble? Who's picking me up afterwards? Where am I getting my lunch? Where do I get my refueling? Right? What happens if the doo-doo...
All important questions.
Yeah, well, if the doo-doo hits the fan, what do we do? Right? What are fallback plans? Right? These are things that your spec op team doesn't want to think about. They say, listen, I've got my specialty. I think General Patton once said it kind of succinctly. He said, you know what? Strategy is important, but we shouldn't overestimate. I mean, without strategy, you're going to lose. He says, but we also have to acknowledge as soon as the first bullet is fired, strategy goes out the window. And I think you referred to it as tactical agility, right? So what you have to provide as a cast of officers is a clear vision and mission and parameters and rules of engagement. What do you expect? What are the requirements of the outcome that you're looking for, right? But then have the leadership fortitude and ethos to say, listen, you're the one who's going to put your life on the line. We've trusted, we've trained you. We're going to give you, I think you referred to it as that tactical agility, right? We're going to give you the tactical agility to do what you need to do, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And the leadership's job, in my opinion, is creating those lane lines that the organization has to stay in.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily the leader's job to define what takes place in between those lane lines.
Yeah.
So all those things that you mentioned that were logistics based type things that we would worry about inside a military organization, every single one of them is important, Mark, because if any single one of those doesn't happen, just as simple as water or food or the quick reaction
munitions.
force, or who in your organization is responsible for making sure the QRF
or also
knows where to go.
Also
all that stuff.
Yeah. Also the coordination between the what you call it, the not interagency, but the the different branches of military.
Cross-functional teams. And
who's coordinating with the Marines? Who's talking? If you're out there with Delta, who's coordinating with them so you're not conflicting with one another, right? When you work together, collaborative. So the high level decision making, you can't pass it on, and your team is not interested in those. I mean, they're interested, but they're not going to make those kind of decisions.
They just want to know it's being taken care of.
Yeah, and they also want to know that there's some sound thought that's gone into that.